Hi, everyone. Welcome to your personalized video workshop. I'm Samantha Kornmesser. I'm from MDT Marketing. Thank you all very much for joining us today. The hope for this hands-on workshop is to be as interactive as possible. So hopefully you'll see some poll questions pop up on your screen from time to time. And of course, I will end all of the discussion with hopefully a lively Q&A. But there is a lot to cover, so I want to kind of just jump right in, and I'm going to ask your instructors to give us a little intro, name, rank, serial number, that kind of stuff. So Josh, as our guest of honor, being the peer to the audience, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name's Josh Swain. I'm the CEO and president of Charter College. We own and operate a number of schools in the West, from allied health to trades. And so that's a little bit of quick background on who I am and the school system and where we're located.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Lauren, go ahead. You're next.
Thanks, Samantha. Hi, everyone. Lauren Ellison from Lead Squared. I've been with Lead Squared for about 2 years, but prior to that, worked at an online university for 10 years. So I've been in your shoes before, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. We're super excited to have you as well. And that leaves Gary for last.
Thank you, Samantha. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Gary Thorup. I'm VP of Operations at MDT Marketing. And I've been the kind of led the development of our personalized video solution, which is one of the main things we're going to be talking about today. And super excited to talk it through. We're going to cover everything there is about it. And I think you'll find it really interesting. So excited to be here.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, guys. There is a lot of knowledge with these instructors that I like to call them. So don't be shy with the questions. So please submit your questions for the Q&A. We also have, as you've noticed, maybe you didn't, Brian Kofsky is my silent co-host for the workshop here. So he'll be helping to, execute the poll questions, as well as answer some questions in the chat, and also, of course, save some gems for our Q&A for our instructors. All right, with that, be sure to listen for the exclusive offer that we'll be sharing at the end of the workshop today. So I'll give you a little bit more detail on that at the end. And now, before I pass it over to Gary, let's kick this off with our icebreaker. So this is our first poll question, and hopefully we can get that launched for you. The first question is going to be a little bit more creative. So you're going to imagine your student engagement strategy, but think of it as a movie genre. What type would it be? So you should see your options on your screen. You can be able to go ahead and select the best one that fits. All right, while they go ahead and play with that poll, Gary, I'm going to go ahead and kick the floor over to you. You can give us a brief description or intro into personalized video and tell us about wow moments.
Yeah, first of all, I'm disappointed that I can't participate in the poll. Those are really, I love those poll options. I think that's a great way of asking how people are building their nurturing campaigns. Yeah, as a quick intro to personalized video, I want to step back and think of it broadly. MDT has been helping schools with student nurturing for years and years and years. We've been doing it for over 20 years with different product lines, with the whole idea of demand generation and lead generation are so hugely important to your institution. That often gets the vast majority of the focus and attention when it comes to marketing. What we have really pushed and we think doesn't get the attention that it really deserves is, what is it that you do once you've collected that data? Because you're spending a lot of money on that data. What is it that you're going to do with it that could help convert those prospects to an enrollment, a start, and beyond at a higher rate than you're currently doing today? And that's something that we've really focused on a lot. And one of the things that we've learned along the way is that establishing engagement with a prospective student is so important. When you think about the prospective students that are flowing into your school, your admissions teams are reaching out to these contacts, what percentage of those prospects are engaged and ready to talk to you and are like, oh yeah, I can't wait to book my next appointment to come in? Is maybe 10 to 20%, maybe, and maybe that's even a little generous. So you're spending a lot of money on generating demand for your school that isn't converting, or they are contacts that are just so early in the enrollment process that they're not ready to engage. And that's where the solution like personalized video comes in. And the big idea for us is, what are little things that we can do, something that's novel, something that contrasts with other content that's being deployed, that will get somebody to stop and pause for a moment and reflect on it, and associate that with your brand. And we call these wow moments. We think about these as wow moments. If we can deploy something to a prospective student and get them to pause and say, wow, then that's when we're establishing engagement. And we've noticed that when that engagement's established, there's a much stronger likelihood that they are going to convert. And the reason that really works is they're more inclined to engage with an admissions representative. They're more inclined to talk to your school. But we just got the results back. And I love the fact that romantic comedy won. I feel like that's a great description. I don't want to steal your thunder, Samantha. You can kind of recap those results in a minute.
Oh, no worries. Keep going, Gary.
To just kind of finalize the intro to personalized video, that's exactly what this is. It's a wow moment. It's something, it's a novel piece of content that you can infuse into your campaigns that can improve engagement. And I would imagine most of you have seen an example, but if you haven't, I'm going to share my screen. And this never shows as well when you're streaming a video on Zoom. So I want to put that caveat. We can share an example with you afterwards. But here we go. I'm going to share what is a personalized video. A personalized video is when you weave data into a video that is specific to the end viewer. So this video right here is made just for Sebastian. Now let me give you an example.
Hi, Sebastian. I'm Jenny with Eastwick College. Congratulations on taking the first step towards your educational goals. We're so excited to connect with you. You and us could be a great match, but the only way to know for sure is to speak with admissions. So let's get that conversation started. Click one of the links below this video. Thinking about education and your future is really exciting, but I know it can also feel a bit overwhelming. Don't worry, that's normal. We're here to help guide prospective students like you through the academic and career planning process. So, your next step? Click one of the links below to connect with us. We are so proud of our students and graduates. Maybe you will be the next success story.
So that's an example. I want to call out a couple pieces of this. You probably caught it along the way, but we're applying both in text over the video, but also spoken, the prospect's name.
Hi, Sebastian.
Very unique delivery, something that's definitely novel, something that your prospects aren't seeing. And then we package it into a video. This is just one video. We have a number of different templates, and I'm going to be talking about that more later. And the whole idea behind this is to generate a wow moment. Just get somebody to pause for a moment and engage a little bit longer with your brand. So I'm trying to think, have I missed anything? I think that's kind of the nuts and bolts to personalized video, where we're going to be talking about how we've made it super easy to do this through your Lead Squared account. And I'm excited to lead that part of the conversation in a little bit. But that's the big idea. So I don't know, Samantha, did I miss anything that I should?
I don't think so. I think that was definitely a great piece. Something just, I guess, to touch on that we've had some feedback on was this is not AI. This is actually, she records that name. So especially a lot of institutions, you end up having to, the AI just sounds really robotic. Everybody really is, I know AI is like the golden child right now, and everybody's like, yes, I need AI for everything. But this is actually, because you're speaking someone's name, the fear is that if it doesn't speak it correctly, I know this was highlighted in one of our other webinars, if it's not spoken correctly, it kind of loses it and almost tarnishes the whole video and the whole reach and the touch. Lauren, did you have anything else to add about the partnership?
Yes, thanks. And thanks for that intro, Gary, to the personalized video. I'm just, every time I see one, I'm impressed. And I always wish I had something like that to use with my students when I was working in student success and admissions. It's just such a cool nurturing strategy. And like you said, providing these wow moments with your outreach that has just really stuck with me. So just to give you a little background, MDT and Lead Squared have been partners for around 1.5 years. We share very similar values in supporting an important sector of the economy and population through our work with schools like yours. We discovered we already had a number of mutual clients, so it made sense to align better to support them. But this partnership is particularly powerful because we've custom built this connection between MDT and Lead Squared that allows for the personalized videos to be created and sent seamlessly to Lead Squared. And we found that one of the main pain points was getting the technology inside the system so you can take advantage of it in your contact strategy. So I'm very excited to dive deeper into how this integration works later in the session. So back to you, Samantha.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yes, definitely super excited. Before we actually send over to Josh, I know everybody's really excited to hear his thoughts. Charter College is one of the first ones to actually dive into Lead Squared and personalized video together. So I know I'm excited to hear from Josh as well, because it's always just fun having a good conversation about him and the passion that you all share about higher education. Before we do that, we are going to launch one more poll. So we'll go ahead and get that launched to you guys. This one is you describing your current experience in nurturing leads. So this one's a little bit more, down to earth, not as creative at this point, but definitely still a really good question for us to understand is where you guys are at with your nurturing experience. So while that's happening, Josh, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to you to tell us about Charter College's experience with personalized video and Lead Squared.
Okay. Thanks, Samantha. I'd have to agree with Gary. I'm a little disappointed I can't vote in this panel, but in fact, I didn't read the little fine print at the bottom. I was sitting there clicking the button on the first one going, hey, why didn't it let me recognize my vote? Well, I'm glad to be here. I think as those who are here listening, really, this is just to give you an option or look into, our experience that we've had with MDT as it relates to the personal video solution. But I think to kind of put a little bit more context in this, our relationship, at least mine, has gone back with Mitch, who owns and operates MDT for 20 years. So I think the thing that I want to put there is one of the values that I've seen is just the relationship that you can have with, a marketing group, having aligned, interest in being able to tell your story to the student or prospective individuals, whatever, sector you may be in. But I think what I have enjoyed about this, and that caught our attention from the get-go when they presented this personal video, is it was very similar to the success I saw. I'm going to date myself, almost 20 years ago, when MDT really had a direct mail campaign, and they took that concept of having kind of a looking like a handwritten note with your name on it, and just as Gary indicated and Samantha, is that when this video goes out, I think one of the things that jumped off to us is the ability for it to say the name, personalize it, and I think in general people understand that this is not maybe someone's real individual that's only for them, but it's who doesn't like to hear their name, see it, and the connection there, and the effort that's put there in that process. So that being said, it was neat to see their continued quality work translate over into the video and the digital age that we live in, where majority of our students are only typically responding to short clips, videos, TikTok, Instagram, text message. I mean, the days are gone where they even go to the mail. I imagine. I don't know. So with that, we had launched this with MDT. With a single video that sent out, responses to individuals who had, indicated and what I call raised their hand and showed an interest. So we had unique records that were sent in this campaign. A single video, similar to what Gary just showed to the group, very successful. I mean, and with that, the ability for us to trigger that, to have the information came back. And when I say successful, I mean, there's always glitches in the system. And I've got to poke fun at Lauren a little bit because I love when IT says everything was seamless. I laugh because I'm like, it never does. So I mean, let's cut to the chase. We have shin bumps. We're gonna go through that, but it has been a very good workable relationship with us and with Lead Square and with MDT. But nothing's ever seamless. But I can say with the single video it went very well, or it was received well by our admission staff and front desk area, which shows to me the quality of the work. Sometimes when you've done advertising campaigns, you've done different things within your campuses or your departments, you may be, have high intentions or hopes, and with that just doesn't translate down to the folks who have to deal with this on a day-to-day basis, because there's glitches or there's quality control concern there. But this wasn't the case. The only thing that I can say to folks is that when employed in this, because this is a standard, ours was a young lady by the name of Cameron. So obviously we don't have a Cameron that works for us. So we had to, part of the training was to let the front desk and admissions know that when you get somebody calling in, Cameron is sending them to you, that they're familiar with what that is. But with that, it went very, very well. I want to share just a few statistics with the group in terms of our overall experience thus far with our data. So with our group, we sent out roughly 13,000 unique records. So those who want to receive an indication, we sent out a record to that individual saying, "Hey, Gary, understand you acquired information," and it sends out that first video or executable lead back to or a response, that campaign back to the individual. Of that 13,000, I'm giving some rough numbers here, in terms of where we are. We had about 3,400 unique visitors. So of those, that got this, response back, 3,400 of them clicked on that. And that's roughly about a 26% response rate. And we found that definitely an increase of those who, pick up the phone, call. I mean, here it is, they see something, they're responding, one, to the medium that we're sending it to, that confirms video is a high response rate. And I think then to me, the interesting, or, I think, a very positive element of those who actually clicked on it and, received it, 1,000, it was about 1,800. So 1,800 folks, watched and engaged in the video. And of those who engaged in it, we had 1,200 that finished the whole thing, which isn't super long, but still, that's the behavior of human response. I think if you do the data comparison, is a very, very positive interaction. Again, going back to the quality of what the work is, making that personal touch, it is what it says it is, personal video solution, to get that response. And then for us, we had over 500 call to actions, meaning that once they've watched it, they clicked on the link that took them directly to our website, or clicked on the phone number. You can individualize that as it's you see pertinent to your situation, where the students responded. So overall, if we're trying to evaluate just the response rate and the quality, I can speak as a consumer of this, to those factors. Again, it was able to make it personal. It was short enough that it was interesting, and it kept them engaged all the way through the end. So we've been pleased with this campaign that we've engaged with MDT, and think that we have found, I won't say a solution, but at least at the time, because our customers are always moving and shaking, but that it has allowed us to connect with them and get the response rate that we're looking for, which we all want us to be able to just share with them how we personally can touch and change their lives. So I guess I'd answer any personal questions that may come later on in the presentation, but I think hopefully, Samantha, that gives you at least an overview or a high level of our experience in relationship with MDT to this with this personal video solution.
Absolutely, Josh, that was perfect. Again, it's just so exciting because I was there the moment that Josh walked us up and over to Lead Squared at CQ, to their booth, and started this whole conversation. And at the time, I didn't know that this was going to turn into this partnership, and it just bloomed into something very, very beautiful. And I'm really excited that, as Lauren put it, it really kind of helps take that IT struggle out of it. It's not seamless, of course, nothing technology is. As you know, all of us know, the Zoom links, sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. So yeah,
Let me
thank
just
you for
plug
that.
in one thing I forgot. I mean, not forgot, but I think is important is this relationship in the past. If you go back to the direct mail that I used, it was so hard to track. I mean, it was just kind of like you took a kind of a shotgun approach and throwing a net out. The thing that I've liked about what MDT's is they've dialed this down. And if you haven't met Jonathan on MDT's team, he's fantastic. A real data cruncher there. But it allows us to look where the response rate is, time-wise, the clicks, and then you can adjust it. I mean, so that you understand what the different behaviors may be like for, different programs, different, sectors, different subject matters. And so to me, it takes that overarching personal video that applies to everyone. But then as you look down to specifically the behaviors you're looking for, not only from your, students, prospective students, but also in terms of the response rate that we're able to do through LeadSquare with our, our reps and how they respond to those things. So that's the enhancement I see with this personal video, is to be able to track that data enough that you can begin to massage it as needed to benefit you and to be able to reach and speak the language to your particular students.
Absolutely. I mean, the reporting, I mean, I think it was there was some kind of phrase that I had seen a million times that, without the data, there is no marketing. You're just shooting in the dark. So data really kind of helps you make those informed decisions. Otherwise, it's just guesswork, right? So with that, we're going to start to get into the meat and potatoes. And before I kick it back over to Gary, we're going to go ahead and launch one of our third poll for you guys. This one's a little bit more about the tech that you're looking to put into your student journey campaigns this year. So looking to see what you guys are thinking about for the tech that you want to put into these nurturing campaigns. And of course, as I mentioned, AI is definitely an option for you guys to pick. So we'll go ahead and give that a few minutes. But while they go ahead and play with the poll, Gary, let's go ahead and jump into the main reason most of these people are probably on this workshop is to see how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to. And let me just start off, and Josh, thank you for going through everything. I want to start off by mentioning we have a terrific case study from Charter. So that's available too. And Samantha, you probably know better than I do where people could access that.
Yeah, actually, we'll be in the follow-up email that will come out tomorrow with your recorded link.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Yeah, so let me take you through the process. So the thing about personalized video is you're getting two things. One, you're getting like an instant video for your institution, which everybody knows that video is such a tremendous way to communicate with prospective students. But there's a lift to it. There's a lift to it because you got to produce it. It's just not like always an easy thing unless it's something you naturally gravitate towards. It's something you say, hey, we need video, and then nothing ever happens. This is a way to like instantly get video worked into your nurturing campaigns. And on top of it, it's personalized. Because the way that we work this is most of our campaigns are running in real time, which means that as soon as a prospect is generated, as soon as somebody fills out a form on your website or somewhere else, and that data hits your system in LeadSquared, we begin the process. It starts immediately. And within a couple minutes, you're going to have a personalized video to deploy back to the user. So it happens really quickly. So it is a live integration with your account. So today what we're going to talk about is how do you get this set up and how do you work it into an automated campaign? So I'm going to cover the first end, and I'm going to start with how do you get the MDT personalized video app installed within your LeadSquared account. So here I am within the login screen. Most of you are probably familiar with this. You start just by going to the apps drop-down menu and over to the apps marketplace. And here, this is where you can search for it. You can either do MDT or MDT personalized video, and you'll see that our app pops up in this app marketplace. And you can click into here, and you'll get some additional information about the app and the app experience, including some screenshots from one of the video templates that we've got. Now, I want to preface everything that I go through here by saying, you don't have to take notes on this. This is something to just kind of show you how easy the process is. But if you'd like, when you register for personalized video, a rep from MDT can help hold your hand and guide you through this process. So you don't have to memorize everything that I'm going through. So when you're in this environment, you'll just click a button. It'll say install. I've already installed it. So you'll click that button. You'll see a little spooling action for a moment as it installs within your instance of Lead Squared. And then the next thing you'll do is configure it. In configuring it, all configuration does is really define what users within your Lead Squared account will have access to adjusting the campaign. So I think right now I have all users applied to it. Yeah, administrator, marketing user. So here you can select and choose, and then you can save that. And once you do, you have the app installed. It might take a couple moments, I've noticed, but once it's fully installed, it will appear in your app's drop-down menu right here, MDT Personalized Video. And the next step will be registering the app. And the app registration process is a 4-step process. And most of these steps are just like hitting the next button. They're very simple. So the first step is basic settings and authentication. So just looking for an account ID, which if it doesn't pre-populate, you can find right at the bottom of your screen and copy and paste. Default country code, select time zone. These are straightforward things. The one question is that you will be prompted on is lead capture by criteria. One is going to be prospect ID and secondary is going to be email. And that's really all there is to it. Once that's updated, you just hit save and next. Step 2, you don't have to touch anything. Everything's going to be pre-populated. Whatever is set by default is how you're going to leave it. So it is save and next. And step 3 is copying the webhook. Now the webhook, all the webhook does here in this instance is, this is what is going to enable your data from Lead Squared to pass in real time into MDT's rendering engine. And once the video is rendered on our end, it's how we're going to pass the data back into your account so it appends to the appropriate contact record correctly. So that's the webhook. So I'm going to come back to this in a moment to finish off the registration. The last step here is, this is kind of the most fun part for me because this is the creative side. So step 4 is the creative registration. The first step within this registration form is just entering some of the basic business information and contact info. The most important part here is going to be receiving the correct access and secret key. These should pre-populate into the form, but if they don't, you can copy and paste the URL underneath the field into a different tab and collect it and copy and paste it in. Then it's time to select your video. Right now, our library includes 3 different template videos that you have to choose from. And there are a couple ways to get more information about it. One, you can click on the thumbnail and cycle through some screenshots from the video. And another way is just to copy and paste the video URL into another tab to watch. And so that's straightforward. So you can take a look at each one of these videos as a preview to see which one might make the most amount of sense for your institution. So here, let's say I've looked at them all. I'll select one of these videos, the New Inquiry Live Action Studio. And then I move on to uploading campaign assets. Now, this is really the one area of the setup where you'll have to bring some assets pre-prepared to complete the registration. And we guide you through what assets are needed with this little screenshot at the top of the page. Number 1 is going to be a brand logo. Number 2, asset brand colors. Number 3, CTA links. I'll talk about each of these in detail in a moment. And then number 4, a disclaimer. Because this will ultimately be what we're delivering back to your institution, is a landing page experience with the personalized video embedded within it, and with action buttons for the user to take the next action that you want them to in the enrollment process. So with that as a guide, you just upload a copy of your logo here. You select your brand colors, which could be as easy as just clicking on one of the colors that, represent your school, but you can also be specific and give a hex code for each of your primary and secondary colors. Asset number 3 is going to be your call to action links. So there are going to be 2 that we recommend that you include. One is an inbound phone number. So this will be a click to call number. And it'll appear as a button on the landing page, call us now. This is where we want those calls to ring to. And the second one will be to a landing page environment that kind of best fits the next step that you'd like a prospect to take. So I'd say the most common CTAs that we see here are schedule an admissions appointment, or complete an application form, book a tour, things like that. So you'll have room for 2 different CTAs to apply right underneath the video. And then copy and paste the disclaimer that you would like within this landing page. And that's it. That's the whole process. Once this is done, you'll complete the registration. Now, I've already filled out this form, so it's, I think, going to get an error, but you're going to hit register the app. And once you hit register the app, this is where, since I already submitted one, I'm getting this message, but you'll see a confirmation of the completed submission. So what happens next? The next thing is this data is going to pass over to MDT. And within about 48 business hours, we're going to generate your custom personalized video using the video example that I showed you earlier, just tailored to your institution with your brand logo, your school colors, the correct call to action, all of that completed. It's important to note that nothing happens with this campaign until the creative is approved and you've activated the automated workflow, which Lauren is going to be talking about in a moment. So this data will be sent to MDT. We'll generate the personalized video for your approval, send it to you for approval, and then that's when we'll lock in the video to get the campaign running. So now that we've gone through the 4 steps, I want to highlight one other thing. We kind of jumped over the webhook, which is step 3. Now, the webhook is what integrates our systems together. So I'm going to copy this URL, and I'm going to go to workflow, drop down, and then automation. And this is where we're going to create an automation so that every new lead that comes into your system is passing over to MDT to generate that personalized video. And to do that, it's really simple. You hit create automation. And what we're looking to do is set up from scratch a new lead with one condition. And that condition is that the email address within that new lead contact contains data. Email contains data, add condition, and then set criteria. So all this is saying is that for every new lead where we do have a valid email address, we're going to execute we're going to execute the rendering of a video. Now, there are all kinds of different ways that you can set up the triggers. So we could talk about that, but this is the most common way. Then to complete this, we're going to hit the plus sign, go to custom webhook, and then this is where we're going to enter the URL that I just copied. Personalized video rendering engine, we're going to name it. We're going to change the URL type to a secure HTTPS. This is where we copy and paste the webhook information, and everything else can remain the same. Now, I don't know if I verify this, if I'm going to get an error or not, because no, I got a success. Because I already have one that's programmed in this account. I wasn't sure if I get an error. So now that we've got the success, and hit save. And now you have your completed webhook. All you need to do is publish this. And as soon as you publish it, you have now programmed the delivery of new prospect contact information to feed to MDT for us to generate the personalized video. And we've established the connection back to Lead Squared so that the URL associated with the personalized video gets appended back into the specific contact record. And so once you publish this, that flow is running. Now, one last point, no campaign goes live. This does not launch the campaign. Like I said, the creative needs to be approved, and then the personalized video needs to be worked into either a new nurturing campaign or an existing campaign. And for that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pass it over to Lauren to kind of take us home and show us how, once we've established this connection between our systems and you've got the personalized video URL that lives with the contact data, how do we take that and apply it to a nurturing campaign and start creating wow moments?
Thanks, Gary. It's simple, right? Very simple. So hopefully you all should be able to see my LeadSquared instance now. So once that webhook fires, it is sending that specific personalized video link into the custom lead field that you've created in your system. And I'm sure all of you are intimately familiar with creating custom lead fields, putting them into automations. You probably have a very robust contact strategy already built out. So this is all old news to you, but just wanted to show you within this lead detail page, you can see where the URL was entered. And if I click on that, you can see the video, just in case you want to check out the videos that your students are going to be receiving. So you can use this lead detail field as a trigger in any automation you want. I think the recommendation is to start out by sending it to new inquiries to really catch their eye off the bat. So it's as simple as just when the lead field is modified and the URL is entered into the lead field, then trigger a text message, right? So this is a super simple automation that I've created. You could also include this as part of your contact strategy, just add an additional card. But the first card we have here is when the lead field is updated. So when photo URL changes, that will trigger this automation to send a text message. And the cool part here, right, is you can throw in the lead's first name using mail merge field. So it's completely customized. Thanks for your interest in LeadSquared University. I made a special video for you. Check it out here. And then you'll just use the mail merge field for the photo URL, the personalized video field that you've created in your instance. And it's as simple as that. You could create a more robust automation if you want. So let's say you partner with MDT and create a video or choose a video that has something to do with like applying. So thank you so much for your application. We're so excited that you've expressed interest in our college. You know, here's what life is like at LeadSquared University. So maybe it's new activity on the lead that you want to trigger the automation. And you can have an email sent and a text message sent at the same time. So you can get as complicated or as simple as you want in this contact strategy. But the key thing is that webhook will trigger the link to be sent to a lead field, and then you can take it from there on how you want to handle it. And then if we jump to the activity history, of course, you can see the text message sent as well with the content, and you could view the video from here. And then you'll be able to see text response too. So the integration has made it really simple to be able to send out these personalized video. As Gary mentioned, the webhook automation trigger is based on lead creation, but you could have it be based on like if a start date is entered into the start date field, right? Then it triggers the webhook and tells MDT, hey, we want a personalized video for this student. Please send a URL back. So it doesn't have to be on new inquiry, right? It all depends on your strategy and how you want to use the personalized video in your outreach. So pretty simple there and exciting. Did I miss anything?
Gary, did she miss anything?
No, I don't think so. I think this kind of shows how straightforward the process can really be. So you can work this photo URL both into emails, text messages. So there are a lot of different ways that you can, a bunch of different ways that you can deploy it. If you're running text campaign, which I highly recommend, if you're doing anything with text, that is the most powerful way to deploy it. It's really terrific. So no, I don't think anything else. It's a very straightforward process to get this going within Lead Squared. So that's really exciting. But if there are any questions as anyone's going through registration, we're happy to help guide you. So you always got us to fall back on.
Absolutely. And I know that Lead Square is the same way. I know with Josh and Melissa at Charter College, they've mentioned it as well, that Lead Squared is really going to help them out when they needed it. So I'm sure that everybody kind of feels that way, but MDT is also going to be right there, kind of helping you out right along. Awesome. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for their very active participation. We do want to go ahead and transition at this time to the Q&A. So I hope you found all of this really enlightening and enjoyable, as I did. So we covered some incredible ground. And before we go into the exclusive offer and the Q&A, there is one last question for you. You're going to have to get your creative hats on as well for this one. So let me swing on over to my polls here and I'll get that one launched for us. Oh, it won't let me launch it. Why won't you let me launch it? Oh, there we go. I was sharing the other one. That's why I wanted to let you guys all know what the tech one. All right, let's go ahead and get that fun one launched. So this one, of course, is your biggest marketing challenge were embodied by a character from a well-known movie. Who would it be? So I'm really glad you guys on the instructors here could actually see these answers, because I love the creativity that came into this. But yeah, Jerry Maguire, he's always trying to attract the right people. You got Marty McFly. Frozen, I think, was probably the most creative. If you're having trouble with getting people from enrollment to start, of course, that would be Elsa in Frozen, because she deals with a lot of melts. So go ahead and have a little fun with that. If you have actually an idea that you're like, no, this person really embodies my strategy, go ahead and throw it in the chat. We would love to hear it. I'd love to hear, actually, Gary seems to be cracking up. Who do you got? Who do you got? If you sell the bully from Jumanji, we'll judge you. But Josh, you have one? A character?
I would probably go with Indiana Jones just because I like the series. So it's relatable.
All right. We definitely went with the classic, though, the Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is no Crystal Skull or whatever the time one is. I forget what that one's called now, because I've only seen that once, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think I've probably seen it at least 15 times. Big fan of Harrison Ford. So, all right, with that, we'll go ahead and let that one run as I kind of jump in then to get us started on the Q&A and the exclusive offer, of course, that's coming up. But first off, we're going to jump into questions. So let me find off that, and hopefully Brian's been helping us out in the chat with the some of the Q&A. All right, our first question is, how does it appear on someone's phone through text? Is it a GIF, a URL, or just click? So Gary, or you want to answer that one?
Yeah, how does the video appear on somebody's phone? Okay, yeah, so if you're deploying it by text message, the best way to do it is to include a personalized GIF. So we didn't talk about that. That would be, that is not native to this program, but it is the best way to deploy it if you're running a text message campaign. And what that means is that we take the video, once the video is rendered, we then generate an animated GIF of that video, like a little preview. And what that does is it serves as a kind of a portal into the video. So like if you're sending a blind link in a text message, there you get a blind link. Anyone who's gotten like a blind link with like a long kind of drawn out URL, you don't always feel inclined to click it, even if it says, hey, this is so-and-so from Charter College. So we include this personalized GIF as an animated preview, so you can see what it is that you're about to visit, like a little preview. That's the best, that's the strongest way to do it. And we've done tracking on that, that does increase click-through rates by a pretty good amount. But we've done it both ways too. So I would highly recommend the animated GIF because of the impact that it has on boost on the click-through rate.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, that was all the questions I think I had in the Q&A. Oh, no, there's one. Thank you, Paul. Can you make this available for A/B testing? That's a great question. Gary, I'm going to shoot that one back over to you, and Lauren, I guess you can jump in.
Well, I'm going to say yes. I mean, Lauren could probably speak to the way that you could do it within Lead Squared better than I could. I would imagine it's just how you configure an automated workflow. So I think the way that I've seen everything within Lead Squared, they make it super easy to set this stuff up. But Lauren, you know better than I would.
Yeah, exactly, Paul. I think you would just build out the automation so the webhook is only called for the specific group of students that you're trying to pilot it with. So say it's based on a lead source or a program that you want to try, we would just build out the automation in a way where the personalized video URL is only being called and sent for that group, and then you could do the comparison there.
Yeah, again, great question, because that's something that I know that MDT, we're very passionate about testing. If you want to know if something's working, the best way to do that is an A/B test. So definitely having a holdout group. I know the Aviation and Student Maintenance is another school group that we've worked with. They don't use Lead Squared, unfortunately, but fortunately for them. They were one of the first ones to jump on this to try out personalized video. And we definitely, again, did a 50-50 split on theirs to do a test to kind of, again, see the power of it. So definitely something I would encourage people to think of. All right, there's the next question. Oh, all right. Brian's answering questions left and right over here. Can you create more than one video? Meaning if we want to create a separate video message for recaptured leads, is that possible? Recapturing leads, recapturing.
Yeah, the answer is yes, absolutely. The way that the app that we have, the app as it's set up right now, we've got 3 template videos, and we're going to be adding to that library very soon. Those 3 template videos are exclusive to new prospects, but we have other videos that we will be bringing into the app experience that target different phases of the student enrollment process. And then I'm going to say also, you're not stuck to these messages that we've created. You can do something custom. You know, you can do something that is totally unique to you, and the more that you can do it, that's in a way that's unique to you, the more compelling the messaging can be. So that's something to consider too. But to really directly answer the question, absolutely. Lauren was kind of talking about it before. You can just build out different workflows that target different stages of the process. And we're actually in the we're doing something like this in a build with Charter College right now, where everything that Josh had been talking about was with one video that goes out right when a new prospect hits their system. But we're about to launch a new campaign that's a 5-stage campaign, where instead of it just being one video, it is a virtual assistant that is contacting or reaching out at key milestones in the student enrollment journey. So it's like a new inquiry, appointment set, college acceptance, start date reminder, and then a post-start check-in. So it's a 5-step series where they kind of where the prospect kind of builds a relationship with the virtual assistant, and that virtual assistant pops up those times to give reminders and stuff. So that's all to say, yeah, you absolutely could have multiple videos that target different stages in the student enrollment life cycle.
Before I go to the next question, Josh, do you want to elaborate on why? So you saw the success with the first personalized video, but what makes this next one so exciting to build out this next piece?
I think just the response we saw, we all know that the initial response to leads or to prospective students isn't as high typically. I mean, just getting that initial engagement because of the modality of deploying the videos in a time-sensitive manner. It only made sense to continue it, for us at least, in the funnel with our students, because again, we're interested in being able to attract new students to tell our story, but there's also a high interest of us from a retention component. So it was taking them continually through that funnel that we found that if the initial engagement or the initial inquiry that we do out had such a strong success rate in terms of response, we anticipate to see a very like or similar or higher percentage as that relationship continues to grow down that the life cycle of a student through the interview, the enrollment, the booking, a lot of necessary communication points in a campaign that we all typically try to find ways to continue to strengthen and develop that relationship. And this has been a trigger or a communication tool that we know based on the initial campaign that we've done with MTT to have a high success or response rate. I know that we joke it sometimes, but sometimes the hardest thing is just the student to respond, to pick up the phone, whether that's phone, text, and we have found this to be something that a medium that they respond to, not only from clicking and looking at it, but also to engage back with us in terms of that, whatever that call to action is for them. So that is our main reason, one of which we did our test, our homework, and if it didn't work, we wouldn't be continue to go down the line.
Right.
And the other thing is just the data capturing that it does for us. I think one of the things that, and I've had this conversation with you, Alex and Gary, is sometimes it's just, it's the data drives decisions, and there wasn't that back end sometimes to successfully catch the data. And I think now MTT has that, and that's what's allowed us to make tweaks where we need. So like I said, Jonathan's, I'm sure has been kind of the workhorse a little bit behind that for you guys, and it's been very helpful in our decision making process, and also identify things internally that we need to change that are outside of a marketing element, human behaviors that we need to change within our own organization as this data has identified a few things. So that's, you didn't know that, but I guess that's been internal conversations that we've had of what we may need to adjust to respond to our customer in a more effective and efficient way.
Cool. Yeah, no, there was a lot of questions about what you have set up, Josh. I know there was a question about whether or not you're using the GIF in your text messaging, and if you're using call tracking reporting as well with your campaign.
So we do use a gift, and the call tracking, I guess that depends on how we want to define that, but definitely the call to action, we were able to identify whether they're clicking through to a website or clicking through to a number. And then once it's inside the system with LeadSquare, you can track all kinds of behaviors there, reports, and you can set all kinds of data analysis that you want to do on your reps as to their ability to respond and length and listen and things of that nature. So this is to me, it's just a good vehicle that allows you a lot of different options to customize too. I mean, that there are some limitations, yes, but you can also overwhelm yourself with data too. That kind of paralysis there in terms of too much data.
That's exactly what I was thinking, was you get a little too much data and it can be quite the paralysis there for it. But all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up our, I think we got to most of the questions. Were there any other ones? Hold on really quick before I say we're wrapping up. I just know that we're coming up on our time here. Does the VA also work with LeadSquared in creating the task appointments if the student replies wanting to schedule an appointment? So does the VA also work with LeadSquared in creating the task appointments if the student replies wanting to schedule? So I guess that question is mostly if someone clicks on a call to action there, does the system respond to that? So like, does it take him out of the next step, I guess?
Are you asking me? Or?
If we're talking
no, I'm going to go ahead and ask Gary that one, Josh.
All right. Because I'm like, I don't know, we've controlled it, so we sent it, but go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, so when I say, so if VA, you're talking about virtual assistant, which what I was talking about earlier. This is like a truly virtual creation. This is what we call the character in the video. So this is not a person who's doing anything, except this is, like I showed in the video earlier, it's a character that speaks to the student to try and develop a relationship with the student. And all it is it's really just outbound messaging. And we'll provide a portal for the student contact to re-engage if needed at certain milestones. Some milestones we don't want them to. Yeah, I mean, it's not our goal to have them make an inbound call or something like that. For instance, like college acceptance. They don't have to make an inbound call. We're going to give them a way of following up if needed. We want to celebrate the successes along the way. And we want to give them an opportunity, if something could be a little off, for them to follow back up, like a 4-week appointment reminder. Maybe they start feeling a little uncomfortable, or they haven't really gotten comfortable with the commute or the technology to log in online. We want to try and get ahead of that. So we're sending these out. So the virtual assistant is not a real person. It is a digital avatar, essentially, who's checking in, and then we give some select options for the student contact to follow up. I hope that answers the question.
I think that, yeah, I feel like that answered it pretty well. I think something too is just to know that, like, depending on the automation, like Josh had said, we're putting the automation in so that it will trigger these videos based on what a admissions rep is putting into the system into LeadSquared. So if they say, hey, here's a start date, if that start date field is what was in the workflow to trigger something, then that's what will trigger that video to go out to that person. So yes, your admissions reps are still super, super important. This is all just to complement them so they can relax a little bit. All right, can these things be sent out in a push fashion like Uber does when you ride, when your ride has arrived, versus a link being provided?
That's a great question. It's not built as an app experience, so to deliver that sort of thing, that's something. It's a great question. I'd love to be able to do that. That's not part of the product today. So it's a link, and we try to optimize the click through on the link using the where we can a personalized GIF. And it's kind of revisit the GIF part. That's contingent on you using a third-party text platform that has MMS send capability. That's really important. A lot of platforms don't. It's just SMS. You need MMS in order to deliver one of these GIFs that we're talking about.
That is a great clarification. I like that. Because often we tend to forget about that. All right. For pricing, so I know there's been a lot of questions, and Brian's been really on top of answering those. I just kind of want to address it on here. You guys did see within the registration form there are pricing on each of the videos for you. Gary, can you go in? So somebody had asked, like, how is that broken? So it's by record, correct?
Right. It's per video rendered. It's per video rendered. It's unassociated with how many views it gets, how many times it's played, or anything. It's just based on how many records are rendered. So once the video is rendered for a prospect or whoever it is through the student contact, it's just charged that one time, regardless of how they interact with it moving forward.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So one last question, of course, and it's for me, is what exactly is this exclusive offer? Great question. All right, to show you our appreciation for your participation today, your institution is eligible for a 1-month free trial of personalized video. We believe seeing is believing, so experience it firsthand, the impact of personalized video in your engagement strategies. So to get started, we're gonna go ahead and throw the link into the chat here for you to go directly to just go ahead and jump right on in. There's an offer code on this page, and I can figure out how to get into the chat here. That's why my poll questions are in the way. All right. So let's get everyone, there we go. In host and doing that. There we go. All right, so the link is now in the chat for everyone. If you want to go to there, go ahead and get started all on your own based on this, what Gary and Lauren both showed you here. However, we know that not everybody is super tech savvy jumping into this. We know that Josh, has Melissa. So feel free. There'll also be an email that you're getting in like a minute that will have a link to it. So you can set up a call with our team to help you get that set up. You can pretty much ask any kind of strategy questions, any other further questions about any specialization that you want to do. The exclusive offer is for the app. So if you want to use the personalized GIF within the text message, if you want to do a completely different video for like, college acceptance or something, that again is not a part of the app. That's something that you would have to talk with us about. But the exclusive offer is for 30 days with the app. You can pick any of those new inquiry videos that's on there. And again, like I said, you can set up a call with our team to discuss strategy, anything you've learned today if you have additional questions, or you could just simply want to have a coffee chat or a virtual happy hour with us. We're cool with that too. So awesome. Thank you guys. I want to say special thanks to Josh, Lauren, Gary, Brian, my co-host there for being on here to support me and make this workshop possible for all of you. I hope you, again, really took on all of this and was able to digest it pretty easily. One of the skills I know that Gary has that I actually really enjoy to utilize as much as possible. is to show everybody how simple something can be. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go and have a great day. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.